He was sitting there thinking it's so boring, since there is no customer that's coming to the supermarket is working, and then he realizes someone was walking inside the store. Afterwards, while he is calculating the price, she suddenly says, "Long time no see." After seeing her, he was shocked, and he started to think if she is actually living in the Tokyo. Afterwards, she asks to him on where he is living, to which he replies as a apartment nearby, and he asks her on where she is living, to which she says it's just like him. Afterwards, he was shocked since Hayashi is having a small talk with him. And he goes on by thinking that it's been 4 months ever since their graduation, and she is like a different person right now. Since back in high school, he realizes that her eraser fell down. After seeing it, he started to wonder if he wants to pick it up or not. In the end, he decided to pick it up, but to his surprise, she was looking at him with an annoyed face. But he still picked her eraser, but after seeing she clicked her tongue, which shocked him since all he did was to help her. But even having that type of attitude, she was the queen of the school who was the popular girl with a lot of friends. Afterwards, while walking to home, he saw someone confessing their love to her, which made him to get annoyed, but then that guy was waiting for her reply to his confession. But with an arrogant look she says, "Who even are you?" As a result, everyone in the school started to call her as an arrogant queen. In the end, he decides to not get involved with her, since he doesn't have a good memories with her. Afterwards, he was shocked, since her hand got hit mark, and then she suddenly hides it under her sweater. After seeing it, he started to think it's not normal to wear a sweater in the summer, and he comes to the conclusion that she might be trying to hide something under the sweater. And all of a sudden she says that she got hit by her boyfriend, and she goes on by saying that they live together, to which he asks her, "Isn't it too soon to live together?" Which made her to get annoyed by saying he always talks too much, and she starts to leave the store. Afterwards, while she was leaving, he thinks to himself that Queen showed him her weakness, and he goes on by realizing if she goes back to her boyfriend it will be bad, so he calls her name and asks her to stay at his home for tonight. After hearing, she got really angry. Afterwards, he started to say that he will not do anything to her. Also, if she can't trust it, he will just give her his spare key, and he will stay at an internet cafe for a night. But she still doesn't want it. She can go back to her parents' house. And to his surprise, she says her parents disowned her, since when she asked her parents that she is going to live together with her boyfriend, they disowned her. After hearing, both of them was wondering what. In the end, with a big grasp, he tells her to not go back to her home just for a night. After saying, he says that he is going to grab the spare key and he will text her the address. And all of a sudden, she says she doesn't want the spare key, which shocked him. But then she says that she will wait till his shift ends. But after saying it, her hands was trembling. Afterwards, he tells her to wait for an hour by reading something, which she accepts. Afterwards, he thinks to himself the queen that was always surrounded by everyone and loved by everyone. While thinking about it, he had a serious expression on his face. Afterwards, they arrived at his apartment, and after coming in, he tells her to sit anywhere she likes, while he makes tea for both of them. After realizing the fact that the queen was in his room, he feels like it's not real, and he goes on by thinking it's kind of nerve-wracking for him. And after giving the tea, she started to drink it. Afterwards, she started to say that her boyfriend and her need some time to cool down, since he must have been in the bad mood. After hearing it, he asks to her if she meant about her boyfriend, to which she says yes, and goes on by saying that he won't hit her every time except when his work goes bad, which means she should have supported him better. After hearing it, he jokingly says that's not something high school you would have said, to which she says that people does change over time. Afterwards, he started to think, if whatever she is saying is true, then he should not have asked her to stay here. And all of a sudden, he tells her stay here for the night, to which she says thanks to him, and she goes on by saying that he is also saying stuffs that high school he wouldn't have said. Afterwards, she says that she wants to take a bath right now, and she goes in and started to bath. Afterwards, he was sweating, and he thinks to himself, that girl who was a queen is now showering in his home. After a while, he decided to get changed as well. But before he could leave, she comes out of the bath, and she tells to him that his bathroom was really clean, and he was shocked to see her bruises, which was all over her body. Afterwards, he asks to her that those bruises looks a lot older, but then with a cold expression, she says, "So what?" After realizing, he decides not to ask her, since her expression says him to do that. But he still decides to go into that topic, and he tells her to not stay with her boyfriend anymore. But this made her to get angry, and she asks him on what he knows about her boyfriend, to which he calmly says that it's just his opinion, so it is up to her if she wants to listen to him, since if something bad happened to her, and others might ask him on why he didn't stop her. So, to avoid that type of questions, he is going to say this for his own sake, but she wasn't happy about it. Afterwards, he straight up asks her on why she is still trying to support him, even though he is hitting her whenever he is not happy. And he started to say that kind of selfishness is not good to her, but while saying that, he was thinking on what is this, since he is used to hate her in the high school, and while saying even if her boyfriend never thanks for her greatness, he was thinking on what is this anger he is feeling, and he tells to her if she is still trying to go back to her boyfriend, he won't stop her. After hearing that she was sitting there silently, after seeing it, he started to think if he went overboard, and he thinks to himself that she might be pissed off. Afterwards, he slowly looks at her, but then she was smiling and says that would suck. Afterwards, she says that she is feeling sleepy, to which he tells her to use his bed while he sleeps in the floor. After hearing it, she says thanks and goes into sleep, and after seeing her, he tells her to take time and think before taking action. Afterwards, she says that he sounds like an enlightened monk, which made him to wonder that's why he never gets a girlfriend. In the end, both of them falls asleep, and all of a sudden she looks at him, and she calls him, and she asks him if he wants to do it with her, which shocked him. And he started to panic, while thinking if she really meant it in that way, and all of a sudden, she hugs him from behind, which shocked him. Afterwards, he asks to her on what she is trying to do, to which she just says, so he was awake. After hearing it, he asks her if she hugged him, just to check that. Afterwards, she whispers in his ears that it was just a hug. And then she goes on by asking him if he is a virgin. After hearing it, he was blushing, and then he suddenly says that he is not, to which she hugs him tightly by saying that it was really cute of him to lie to her. Afterwards, while blushing, he tells her to shut up, but then after grabbing her hands, he realizes it was shaking. Afterwards, she started to say her boyfriend used to listen to her, and he always went along with all her whims. But once they decided to live together, he changed, and he started to hit her whenever he wasn't feeling happy. Also, while hitting her, he used to say that she doesn't even earn money, but whenever she asked him that she wants to work, he will always tells her on what can a high school girl can earn. Afterwards, saying it, she tells him to go back to sleep since it's not like a happy story. And all of a sudden, he says that she has been through a lot, which shocked her. Afterwards, she asks him to say it again to her, while he is telling her to go back to sleep. In the end, she just says that he is hopeless while smiling. Afterwards, while blushing, she comes close to his face, while saying she haven't heard that in a while. In the end, it was the next morning, and he wakes up and looks at her, which made him to get shocked since her body is full of bruises. But he was more shocked to see her sleeping face, since in high school she used to look like this. Afterwards, he was cooking some food, and then she wakes up, and he asks her if her body is hurting her, to which she tells to him her body got sore. In the end, she asks him if he is cooking yakisoba, to which he says yes. Afterwards, food was ready, and she took a bite out of it, and to her surprise, it tastes good. Afterwards, she ate all of them, and says the food was delicious. to which he says that he just followed the instructions that was on the back of that pack. She then tells him to not ruin the fact that she complimented him. Afterwards, she started to take the plates to wash them, to which he tells her that he will wash them since she is a guest at his home. But then with a determined face, she says it's the repayment for the food and shelter. Afterwards, she asks him if he got an hair tie, to which he says he only got an rubber band. In the end, she decides to use plastic strings. Afterwards, she started to tie her hair, and then she started to wash the plates. With a blushing face, he thinks that at least she can relax while she is here. Afterwards, he says that they should talk about on what she wants to do next, and he goes on by telling her to choose on what she wants to do. And while hesitating, she says that she is scared of regretting after making a wrong choice. Afterwards, he tells her to see the situation she is in objectively, since she won't regret it if she really thinked it through. And then she asks him on, how can he be so sure? To which he says that you can't always see objectively, since sometimes you just get swept by emotions. She is still not believing the fact that she can't regret if she chose after thinking about it, to which he promisingly says that she won't regret it if she thinks it through. And he goes on by saying that she will be okay. After hearing it, she asks to him on how does he know it for sure, to which he shows a thumbs up by saying that's why he is here. After hearing it, both of them were silent, and he started getting embarrassed. Afterwards, he started to say that if she is scared to take decision alone, she can talk with him about it, to which she simply says it sounds dependable, which is not like him at all, to which he shouts at her by saying that's not true, since all he is trying to do is pushing his opinions onto her. After hearing it, she started to blush, while saying he is always like this. After seeing at her cute, blushing face, he was shocked. Afterwards, he asks her to tell him the story of her lover, so they can decide on what she can do. Afterwards, she told him everything about what happened in her relationship, which wasn't a fun story at all. And while she was saying the story, she was smiling, which confused him. Afterwards, she says he was not always angry at her, but rather he will say sorry to her for hitting her. After hearing it, he realizes something, which was her boyfriend is in a period of domestic violence, and he gets to the stage where everything makes him regret. Afterwards, at the next stage, those regret annoys him to the point where he goes back to the violence stage. After hearing it, she asks him that he sure knows a lot about this topic, to which he says he just looked it up at the internet. Afterwards, he goes on by asking to her on what happened to her mobile phone, to which she says that she doesn't have, since her boyfriend said she doesn't need it. And then he asks to her if he broke her phone, to which she says that she lost all contact she had, and also he is not letting her to buy a new one. After hearing it, he got angry and he taps on the table, and he goes on by thinking that he was planning to say that he tried to help her if anything bad happened, but after hearing her story, he changed his mind. And now, no matter what it takes, he is going to break their relationship, even if she ends up hating him. And then she was saying that her boyfriend is sometimes hit her, but he still got some good points about him, which is really cute. After hearing that, he started to wonder on how is he going to convince her to break up, but then she suddenly says that she will break up with her boyfriend, since after talking to him, she got a new light, which shocked him. And then she goes on by saying that he is right since her boyfriend is just using her to feed his possessiveness. Afterwards, he started to say if she decided to break up, he have some idea that she can use, since abusers normally cling to their victims, so which means if she proposed the idea to break up, he might hurt her so bad by using force, which scared her. So, for that to not happen, he got a proposal. Afterwards, she asks him on if he is planning to beat her boyfriend, to which he says that will be too much to do. And he goes on by saying, first they have to go to the hospital, and then they will go to the police. Afterwards, she asks him on why the police, to which he tells to her that they have to report and press charges against her boyfriend, since if the police gets involved, there is no way he can get near her anymore. After hearing it, she stops him and asks to him if they really have to go that far, to which he says that he left bruises all over her body and made her to cut ties with everyone she knew. Even her parents disowned her because of him. Even after all that, she still doesn't want the police to get involved in this. After hearing it, she became silent, and he notices her. Afterwards, she started to say that leaving someone and filing charges are two different things. After hearing it, he looks at her, and then he says, then they will not go to the police. To which she shockingly asks him if he is okay with that. And he says yes. After all, he is just a guy that's listening to her problem, and going to the police might be the right move for him. But in the end, it's natural for her to think differently and have different opinions. Afterwards, he asks her to tell him if she feels like something bad is happening like this one, to which she accepts it. And then he goes on by saying that he has a small request to ask her, which she shouldn't take it seriously if she doesn't want it, which is if she doesn't like something, she should say it right away, since it's more efficient that way, which shocked her, and she says that he could have said it in a nicer way. Afterwards, he says for now, they won't go to the police since she doesn't like that idea. And also, she can stay here for a while if she wants to. And after hearing it, she was shocked, and she started to say if he is actually after her body all along, which just confused him. But then she says that's really pathetic, to which he tells to her that she can't go back to her boyfriend's place now, and he is probably searching for her like a maniac, which shocked her. So he was suggesting the best idea for her, which was staying in his apartment. And then he goes on by asking her that she have to do one thing to him, no matter if she likes it or not. After hearing, she realizes what he meant, which impressed him since she figured it out quickly, and all of a sudden she covers her body. Afterwards, she started to say that she wouldn't mind it, since he is helping her. In the end, he realizes that she misunderstood the whole thing again, and then she started to say that he wants a full access to her body in exchange of letting her stay. Afterwards, he tells her to stop speaking nonsense, and after hearing it, she got angry. While he is thinking that she is fine with being a one-night stand but not doing it daily, and he goes on by grasping while thinking maybe she hates to be treated as an object. Afterwards, he tells to her that he doesn't mean it by that way, to which she asks him that what was it, and after hearing it, he points out her hands and says that she needs to go to the hospital. After hearing it, she realizes on what he meant by it, and then while blushing, she says got it, to which he thinks to himself on why she sounds like she got disappointed, and he realizes that he can never understand on how the queen feels. Afterwards, they went to the hospital, and then while walking back to home, he looks at her and starts to think that she dodged the question when the doctor asked her on how she got this injuries. Afterwards, he calls her and says that her outfit looks hot. After hearing it, she just says yes, and all of a sudden, he says that they are going to buy her new clothes and some more stuff she might need. And then she says, what about money? To which he replies, he got some money. Afterwards, she tells to him that she will pay it back, but she doesn't know when she will, to which he smilingly looks at her and says whenever is fine. Afterwards, they went to do the shopping. After finishing everything, it was the night time, and they are sleeping happily. Afterwards, he wakes, and he realizes his body is hurting all over the place, and he decides to buy a new futon. Afterwards, he started to leave the room by saying he will do some cleaning before going to his classes, and then he looks at her. Afterwards, he decides to cook breakfast rather than cleaning, and after finished cooking, he placed it ready for her to eat, and he thinks to himself, while she is here, she should get as much as sleep she can get. After leaving for work, he thinks that it feels illegal to not do the cleaning, and then it was the afternoon, and he got the futon to sleep with. And after returning home, he realizes that it smells like food. And he says I'm home. While she is standing there cooking some food, she tells to him, welcome home. Afterwards, she asks to him if he likes hamburger steak, To which he tells Tu that she doesn't have to make dinner, since he would have made it when he returned from work. To which she says she is the one that's staying here, so this is the least she can do for him.